tremendous looking trophy.
Hello, welcome to Platinum Explosion, #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name is John Blight. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan, excited to be here.
Yeah?
I haven't got anything.
Alright, yeah, fuck it. It's the end of the year, you know.
It is, yeah.
We're about to enter December.
It's you know, it's been a week with no news. It's like I'm just kind of phoning it in at this point. Okay. Let's just stop doing, obviously, Thanksgiving over in America, so, they didn't do anything. Barely any news.
Yeah. The only person working is Elon Musk. By working, I mean tweeting shit.
By working, you mean making other people work.
Yeah. Quick God of War update. No, all right.
No, I did one extra side quest this week.
Very good. Let's. It
was good though.
Yeah. It's a good game. I hear.
It's a pretty great game.
It's a pretty great game.
Yeah, lots of puzzles. Yeah.
Spoilercast will come before the end of the year, I reckon, or
no promises.
Yeah, fair enough. In the trophy cabinet this week, a bronze trophy for no more easy plats, and a platinum for a podcast name change. I'm not going to tell you what that means until later. Maybe, who knows? Let's see. She's like, what? Hey, it's a joke. It's coming around.
They're changing Beyond's name?
Yeah. First story, let's talk about Call of Duty, Microsoft, Activision, all that shit. So Kotaku writes, report Microsoft to offer Sony 10 years of Call of Duty to close Activision deal. They write, another day, another report or story about Microsoft doing whatever is needed to make sure its purchase of Activision Blizzard is allowed to happen. This time it's reported that Microsoft is willing to offer some concessions to regulators to get the deal approved, including a deal to keep Activision games on PlayStation consoles for the next decade. As Microsoft continues its determined attempts to consume Activision Blizzard via massive 69 billion acquisition, it keeps running into pesky governments and regulators. Many of these groups seem to have some issues with one of the biggest 10 companies on the planet consuming one of the biggest and oldest video game publishers out there. So Microsoft has been forced to spend most of the last year submitting documents and responses to different courtrooms and regulatory committees around the globe in an effort to see the merger through. And it seems that Xbox might be willing to cut a deal with Sony over Call of Duty and other Activision games in an attempt to appease European Union regulators. Earlier today, Reuters reported that sources familiar with the deal and companies involved claim that Microsoft will offer a series of concessions to the EU's European Commission, the main one being a 10-year licensing deal with Sony. No specific details were shared by Reuters, but considering how few games Activision publishes these days outside of Call of Duty, it seems likely that this would keep COD on PlayStation for 10 years at least. This echoes statements by Xbox's boss Phil Spencer that he and the company have no plans to take Call of Duty exclusive. This would formalize the promise for the next decade. What's your thoughts on? We haven't really talked about it because it's just like it's
like a slow avalanche, I guess.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, but it feels like I was reading a few different variations of this story and like looking at tweets this morning and stuff. And it seems like potentially we're getting towards the end of this never-ending cycle, with potentially this concession being enough to get the lawmakers off the back of Xbox and whatever else. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think? They pay you that much money for the Activision Blizzard, where the biggest game you're buying is Call of Duty anyway, and then PlayStation gets it for another 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I mean, I guess it's good for consumers if this happens, because obviously they can stay playing Call of Duty on PlayStation. What they're saying with 10 years, that doesn't necessarily mean 10 games. I mean, they could stick the finger up to them and go, we're only putting one out every 5 years, which would probably be in the best interest for the franchise, but no. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I guess it is sort of feels like it's the whole saga is coming to its end, You know what Microsoft could do to like sweeten the deal? Just, give Sony the license to Crash Bandicoot, Like, we'll give you this, you just shut up.
I feel like it's mainly been like all the stories about what's his name? Head of the PlayStation.
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan, like flying over to Brazil or wherever the fuck, all these places to stand in courtrooms and argue. It's always been Call of Duty, like just such a fear factor around PlayStation not having access to Call of Duty. And there was like a quote or whatever saying last week with him being like, it'll be so bad for gamers and, all these sorts of things. So it's the Call of Duties. It's all it's about. It's not about Activision Blizzard. It's just about that one franchise, one IP.
Yeah. I mean, they don't care about. Activision doesn't really have, like, I guess Overwatch and World of Warcraft. But outside of that, what franchise are you desperately coming for from Activision?
Nothing. They got nothing.
Maybe Diablo. That's it.
Yeah. So everything's on Blizzard side outside of everything on Activision side is just Call of Duty. And there was that story like from last week where the federal Federal Trade Commission was gonna try and block it or whatever, but now I've been reading this morning that maybe that like recent things about it's 10-year deal and whatever else may be enough to appease them. So
yeah, all right. I don't know how a 10-year deal makes a massive amount of difference. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess when you do the maps, like you look at it and be like, what are you really buying? You're buying Call of Duty. Like one of the biggest games.
Yeah. I guess it's like Sony were giving you 10 years to like come up with something to compete or replace it with. Yeah.
Well, they're working on stuff. So anyway, we'll see. Let's talk about God of War. Talk about it every week. God of War Ragnarok sells 5.1 million copies in its first week. So that makes God of War Ragnarok the fastest selling first party launch title, and it's a franchise record for God of War. Do you think it's shocking or at all that God of War is the fastest selling first party, like above everything else that PlayStation's put out? Like fastest selling The Last of Us Part 2, fastest selling than Horizon, whatever that game was called. All these other things, you know what I mean?
Forbidden West.
That's it, yep.
No, I don't think it's surprising. I think obviously God of War was like critically acclaimed and very beloved and like a huge success. And it ended with enough points that people would want to come back and revisit it. I feel like Last of Us Part 2 was probably partially affected by some of the leaks that were happening. We saw put people off.
The leaks are true, but like there was no context. There was no
no, but even just that act that got leaked was enough to put some people off. At least initially, anyway.
Big babies.
I think God of War is probably a more wider appealing game than Last of Us.
More universally loved, I guess.
Or it's just easy to get into,
It's an older franchise too, I guess, is the other thing.
That too, yeah.
It's been around since PS2.
A few decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously massive success, and I think we're definitely going to be getting. It's funny in a world where like years ago they were talking about sort of rebooting it, and I assume that they were like, let's see how this one goes, and then maybe we can make a sequel and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously it was a huge success. I think at this stage it's like, yeah, we're going to get a few more God of Wars. I don't think you need to worry about it if you're getting more God of War games in the future. If it's a fastest selling IP that PlayStation's got. Yeah. God of War has got its first award too. So we are coming up into award season. Of course, the Game Awards is on next week. Is that right? Yes, next week. Going insane.
Yeah.
Time's flying. Game Awards is on next week. If you want to hear our thoughts and like predictions of trailers and stuff like that we reckon are going to come out, listen to this week's Arcade Couch that came out Monday. We dropped some on there, talked about a few of the awards as well and stuff like that. Who will win? Probably Ash, but that's fine. Wins every year. But
it's different this year. You didn't go through all the categories, so I mean that's where I
make your points.
We bank on my points.
Bank all your points. Yeah.
Being this esports expert.
But God of War has picked up its first Game of the Year award, writes Push Square. With the end of 2020 approaching, conversation among many gaming enthusiasts is turning to award season. What will be crowned Game of the Year? But Time Magazine has just published its top 10 list, and sitting at number 1 is Kratos and Atreus' second outing. It rose above the likes of Horizon Forbidden West, The Quarry, and yes, Elden Ring to secure the win. Obviously, it's a bit weird to have a top 10 thing come out in November, but the Game Awards literally next week, so I feel like once we hit December, I start seeing top 10 lists. I'm like, okay, we're in December. If I see a top 10 list in November, my brain's like, yo, chill, calm down. But so their full list, I'll just run down it quickly. They had 10 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, 9 Lego Skywalker, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, 8 Resident Evil Village Shadow of Rose, 7 Sifu, 6 The Last of Us Part 1. They mustn't have rules about replay, but anyway. 5 Stray, 4 Elden Ring, fucking 4. Fire them under. This is outrageous. Do they know the gamers that are going to come for them? 3 The Quarry, 2 Horizon Forbidden West, and then 1 God of War, Ragnarok.
Such a weird list.
It's a weird list, but do you think it's a sign of things to come? Is God of War just going to pick up everything from now on?
No, it's not going to pick up everything. I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be a 2-horse race, and it's going to be split reasonably down the middle, I guess, depending on people's tastes, between Elden Ring and God of War. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. Obviously, Time's a pretty big publication, and especially for it's a publication that isn't necessarily for gamers, so for the general consensus will be like, oh, God of War, that's the best game of the year, I guess.
Yeah, well, they had I was looking for all there because they had best songs and old. I think they're going to publish some more things, or whatever. I think songs and games are the only 2 things they've done so far, but that's God of War's off to a start. So, and by the way,
Quarry over Elden Ring.
Yeah. Crazy.
Is Quarry in your top 10 for the year?
No.
No. I don't know if it's in anybody's.
No, I don't think so. But also shout out to Bad Bunny, which got their number 1 song. So
he's had a good year.
I thought this was an interesting article, and I hadn't really thought about it. So Sammy Barker at Push Square put up this thing. Sony poised to end 2022 without major press conference. And when I read that, I was like, oh yeah. I haven't. That's weird. Yeah. So he wrote, before we elaborate, it's important to clarify that what we mean here. We're excluding shorter live streams like State of Plays or major events the platform or holder has participated in, like Gamescom Opening Night Live or Summer Games Fest. We're referencing specifically to tentpole briefings like last year's PS Showcase or historical E3 live streams, which in my TLDR is a full Sony event of some sort, not just showing up on Jeff Keighley's stage for 5 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, he goes on to write, they've done events for all these other sorts of things, blah, 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 blah. And then it says, our view is that Sony has been deeply affected by stock shortages while the situation has been improving over the last few months. The system has been largely unavailable, the system being PS5. For most of the year, it's possible that executives at Sony have seen little value in building hype around a product that people can't readily purchase, and thus have been holding back as a consequence. With availability expected to massively increase in 2023, it means next year could be a big one for the PS5 and PS4 announcements. But would argue that needs to be regardless. Obviously, we're very satisfied with PlayStation's output this year with the heavy hitters like Gran Turismo 7 and God of War Ragnarok. There's plenty to play, but with very little on the horizon beyond PSVR 2. A presentation of what the future holds will be appreciated and required. Yeah, how do you feel? Because it's one of those things when, I read the headline. I was like, yeah, that's actually weird. Hey, it's a year without any Sony proper full-on showcase of any sort, which we usually at least get one, be it at E3, be it at the PS event or something like that. Do you think it's weird?
I mean, it's not unprecedented. Obviously, there was that 1 year where Sony didn't go to E3.
They still did something.
I don't think they did.
At the end of the year, they had they did their...
I don't think they did.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have PSX that year. Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing for fans because we were excited to find out what's next, because we've kind of gotten to the point where we know all the first party games that are
Yeah, we had like
they're all
Horizon
out.
and God of War, and like these things that basically it's funny because every time I edit an episode show of this, an episode of this show at the moment, the intro video that I did like 2 years ago has all those games like out now, coming into the launch of the PS5. The intro video for this show has like Horizon and God of War and Demon Souls, like all these like other like things that have come out, Bug Snacks even, like it was done preemptively. It's like, I was thinking that last week when I was editing a thing. I was like, nearly everything in this this intro video is like out now. It's funny. Yeah,
I mean, there's 3 games that we know for certain that are coming out. Spider-Man 2, Last of Us Factions, and Wolverine. Other than that, we have no idea what any of the first-party studios are working on. But, it just might be a thing of they don't want to announce stuff so far down the line anymore.
Which is why I think
things didn't add up.
In my Game Awards predictions, I said, I think 2 PlayStation ones. Because I feel like surely PlayStation has to have a presence at the Game Awards.
They have to steal some thunder.
Yeah, I feel like it would be weird if they don't. It's like, for me...
Or for all we know, they're going to kick off 2022 with a massive show.
Well, there was a story, I didn't include it in the show notes because I'm like, but the voice actor of Venom, said big news coming soon, but I was like, well, I can't. I don't want to go down this let's delay the show for a day because fucking the Venom voice actor said something might be coming soon. It's just, I was like, I can't.
We all believe voice actors, Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, it would have been out like years ago. Yeah. Ooh, Goofy said. Fucking don't trust that guy, as someone who's obviously excited for PSVR 2, I have that, I guess, on the horizon. But if you don't care about PSVR 2, it's like, all right, what do I know? Like solid dates or solid rough times. Spider-Man's coming probably next year.
Next year, yeah.
Probably. That's a probably. But, there's nothing with a rough...
every year there's been a massive March release.
Yeah. What is it? This year, yeah. Maybe they're not having one because they got PSVR in February. They're like, no, they'll do.
Yeah, maybe.
That ain't going to go down as well because, PSVR obviously isn't going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
They just want a good, a PS5 game. They want a PS5 game. So. Yeah. Shall see, but announcement stuff soon. I would love a big Sony showcase, like a fucking hour of just trailers from and talking about everything from PlayStation 5 to PSVR 2, just everything. Announce the Vita 2. I mean, what? Let's move into every trophy doesn't count anymore. So, Pushko writes, rumor. Sony clamping down on PS Store shovelware with new regulations. So they write, for a while now, the PlayStation Store has been awash with dozens of cheap, reskinned, quote-unquote games. Produced solely to make a quick buck off by offering easy trophies in exchange for pennies, these titles have become a bit of a problem on the platform storefront. They drown out more meaningful new software by popping up on a weekly basis in some cases. Now, according to one report, it seems Sony might finally be putting its foot down. Gaming site Dex.ex claims that another source has been sent proof of policy changes from Sony. They'll stamp out, at least reduce, the appearances of games like the Jumping Quasala Turbo, Caravan Journey, and Stroke the Tortoise. According to the report, which includes a screenshot of a letter sent out to developers, Sony will be implementing a number of extra steps to deter or eliminate the release of spam and copy-paste software. Games falling under Sony's definitions of this practice could be subject to various actions such as restricted discoverability, only able to be found via direct-to-link, delisted from the PlayStation Store, content refused publication, developer account suspension, or termination. There are more measures, but these are pretty much the crux of it. If this letter is legitimate, and it looks it, studios making these games may not get very far in the future. The platform holder did make efforts to prevent these games from encroaching on certain feeds and allow more deserving titles to be put in the spotlight. However, with this brand of shovelware still releasing nearly every day, it appears Sony might be taking a firmer stance. I like the top comment. The top comment on the article, the most liked comment is, how am I going to find Stroke the Tortoise Deluxe now when it drops, though? Bummed about this, to be honest. My thoughts on this are, I don't really care. Like, the thing is that it's not going to... I, of course, am part of the problem because I do buy these every now and then and fucking grab a few easy platinums because they're there. But if they disappear... I'll just go back to how it was before. Like, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna be sad. Yeah, the every trophy counts moniker is you're allowed to. If it's there, it's fine. Like no judgment. If Stroke the Tortoise is a game you can get a platinum in, everyone's allowed to play that game. If those games disappear, whatever. It's not how dare they take our easy platinums away from us. That ruins everything. I'm sure there'll still be easy platinums because there always was games like My Name is Mayo and stuff like that had so much more gameplay. Like the gameplay involved in fucking My Name is Mayo and whatever else compared to a lot of these shovelware games now is like they look like art in comparison to these Stroke the Animal games, which I can't remember which one I played. I brought one just to see what it was like. But they've released like one or two a week now. It's just a PNG fucking image on a blue screen. You press X, it just like opacity just flashes on and off. It doesn't do anything. You just get a bunch of... It's terrible. Like, it is bad. That said, I'm part of the problem. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on a similar page. If they go, if they die, they die. I don't think there's going to be a massive like outpouring of people upset that they're gone, other than the publishers for these games. But yeah, if you're just reskinning the exact same game with like different character and then selling it for the same thing, it's like kind of. I think Sony definitely needs to crack down on some of this shovelware. That's if it's like flooding the store so other things aren't showing up properly.
Yeah, I it's definitely, it's just a good thing. I mean, it's definitely a good thing.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, there's no
until they can actually fix the store and like actually, like put this kind of stuff in its own little corner of the PlayStation store, so people could buy it that way. But yeah,
I do think it's just get rid of it. Just if people want to make easy trophy games, I think that's fine. But you at least have to make it a game.
You need to make individual games.
You need to make individual games, yeah.
Not the same game with a different color scheme.
Yeah. Even a lot of like the Raditalika games, like they're proper games. They just attach like very easy trophy lists to them, and use that as a selling point. But I definitely feel like they can all still stay. So there's still always going to be a bunch of easy platinums for people like myself to go after if they want to fill up their cabinet with some easy ones amongst the harder ones and whatever else. But yeah, these super fucking easy ones that are just reskin, copy paste, change the image, upload it again, change the name, and then upload it again with the name Turbo. Like it's just it is ridiculous. That said, if you're listening and you too like some trophies, fucking just grab them all before they're gone. Just fucking grab them all. Like, like they're there now. Hashtag every trophy counts. No shame. If you want to go spend $200 buying all these games or how much they cost and grab every single piss easy platinum there before they suddenly disappear, no judgment for me. Do as you will. Talking about trophies. Last story for the week. The one that could lead to a name change to this podcast. This could be shocking. This could be world-changing news. Gamerant writes, Sony could introduce a PlayStation trophy Rarity beyond Platinum. That was a moment of I needed it to sink in,
Sorry if you've got auto silence.
Yeah, if you've got skip silence, it was just really awkward. But I had to leave a breath there. They wrote, when thinking about the trophy type that is rarer than Platinum could look like, Paladin comes to mind, they say, as is the most expensive of the 4 precious metals. With its real-world inspiration being rare than PlayStation's current top-tier trophy, it could be perfect fit looking for a far shinier thing. So I just want to say right now, let's try this podcast could change to Paladin Explosion, the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. And remember, every trophy counts. What's that look on your face?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Where the fuck was I going? I got lost there. For games that currently updates. Oh, they're saying here like how that this would be interesting. It's just like a little think piece here. This part here. For games that are constantly updated like Minecraft, it's not too uncommon for extra trophy packs to expand upon its existing lists. While this does not prevent players from earning the platinum, as only the original list needs to be finished, it does lower the total number percentage below 100% and force players to collect new trophies to raise that number. Having under completion for a platinum game can be a bit frustrating for trophy hunters. While one solution would be to make additional trophies add a beyond 100% level, letting players reach 105, 110, and so on, making them more interesting could be to go for something interesting could be in the works. Some may be bummed to see their numbers dip below 100% for a finished game, but DLC trophies are rarely worth it. Paladin trophies could be unlocked for reaching 100% on a PlayStation game that has extra trophies, which would take doing some things in like Overwatch 2 and Minecraft that have several additional packs to work through. This way, players could not only get a platinum trophy for completing the main list, but they could obtain a Paladin trophy for going the extra mile and sticking with the game to clear its bonus achievements, with big first-party exclusives for PlayStation, often getting new trophies when they add new Game Plus modes or extra difficulties. Some Paladins could take extra time to earn. What do you reckon about this idea, Ash?
No.
No?
Unnecessary step, I understand, when you want to reward people for completing the DLC, but that's what the gold trophy for the DLC is for, what's going to happen? You're going to have a Paladin trophy, and then every single time they release a new DLC, you get it taken away? That's not nice. Unacceptable. This just seems like an unnecessary step, You've got a great system, why change it?
I'm not against it. Because I do like trophies. I don't know how I feel about this. I like this idea. Yeah. I would say the only way you can make it work is you have to say this DLC trophy pack we're adding is 100% the final one. And then you associate your Paladin platinum trophy to it, and then you're locked. Sony doesn't let you add extra DLC or anything like that. You're only allowed to add it at the last DLC pack.
Yeah,
or because there's a maximum amount of trophies that you can add to a game, right? So like some games have capped out. Remember like Sound Shapes back in the day, they eventually capped out in DLC packs and stuff like that. If you have a game with so much DLC that it caps out, then you can add a Paladin. Still no? Okay. Well,
it's just an unnecessary step that just kind of removes the brilliant streamlining of the trophy system.
Fine. Just sort of kick around the idea. To you,
so Paladin, what? Like, you can understand gold, silver, bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
Yeah.
Paladin? Have you ever heard of Paladin before you read this article?
Yeah, I've been playing Scarlet and Paladin.
I'm pretty sure it's actually a made-up word.
Well, to you, Richard Warren, the writer of this article,
they should call it the Unobtainium Trophy.
Ashley Hobley says, "Fuck you and your ideas." All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Thank you for joining us, of course. Make sure you let us know your thoughts on Easy Platinum's getting removed, all this other stuff, God of War, whatever else. Tweet at us, join our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter for now. explosionnetwork.com/Discord. join us there. And if you liked the episode and thought it was worth $1, want to support us with some Christmas cheer, explosionnetwork.com/support takes you to our Ko-fi page where you can donate as little as $1. And remember, every trophy counts. Go out there, buy those cheap as fuck ones. Get them while the going's good. Get them while the grass is greener.
You can stroke that tortoise.
Yeah, stroke that fucking tortoise. Bye-bye.